Could one little piece of paper be all it takes to get unstuck in your life and stay unstuck? Every time I do this, I ask myself, why haven't I been doing this every single day for the past 10 years, Every time I do this, it seems to make a huge difference in how I feel. It helps me get realigned, re-inspired, and I'm just a little upset that I haven't been doing this a lot longer. I've known about this little technique, this little strategy for many years, and it's always worked for me, and yet I fall out of the habit of it. And so I recently started this again because I need it in my life. I've been going through some difficult challenges in my life recently, and so I definitely need this, and I want to share it with you. But first, I want to give you a little analogy for life. Life is like you're at sea, you're in a ship at sea, and you're going towards this little island in the middle of the ocean. This is like your aiming point. It's where you're trying to go. It's your dream. It's your goal. It's who you want to become. It's what you want to achieve. This little island out in the middle of the ocean. And when you're on a ship in the middle of the ocean and you're going towards this island, if you are just 1 degree off course, you are not going to hit the island. If you're just 1 degree off, you're going to end up in a totally different direction. Because if you're 1 degree off course over enough miles, eventually you're many, many miles off course. So you're not going to hit your target if you're not always aligned, or if you're not constantly realigning yourself towards what you want, then you're not going to get what you want. And so what I've realized is that being successful in life is a lot more about alignment and intention than it is about like effort and struggle and striving. It's more about just making sure you're aligned with what you want every single day. And if you go off course a little bit by 1 or 2 degrees, you get back on course. You keep realigning yourself. I think it was in the book Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, where he talks about your automatic success mechanism. And it's like we all have this inbuilt course corrector. If we set a goal, an intention, and we stay aligned and focused on that intention, we will naturally course correct along the way. If we go off course, our mind will kick in and it'll find a solution and it'll put us back on course. Your mind automatically does that, but it can't course correct if you don't even know what you're aiming for. And a lot of people set like materialistic goals and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that, but what I found is much more powerful is setting intentions for who I want to become and how I want to be and show up in my life on a daily basis and on a moment-to-moment basis. So this little piece of paper that I showed you is what's called a personal mission statement, or you could call it your personal vision, your life vision. I call it a mission statement, but basically what it is, it's a set of intentions. It's things you write down that affirm to yourself your commitment and what you want to become and who you want to be in your life. And you write this mission statement in the present tense. You write it in the terms like I am this, or I happily do this every day. I show up like this. I am committed to this. You write it in the present tense like that. And you write at least one little paragraph for every area of your life. So I have a paragraph for my relationship with God. I have a paragraph for my relationship with my partner. I have a paragraph for my business goal. I have a paragraph for my health goal. And I just read this a few times a day. And it's so powerful because it just reminds you, like, this is what I'm aiming for. Because then your mind knows when you're off course, so it can course correct. If you don't know what you're aiming for, who you're trying to become, what you're trying to do in your life, then you can't course correct because you're not even aiming for anything. So over time, you're training your mind, basically. You're training yourself to be the person you envision yourself to be. And eventually, you really become that. At first, you're maybe off course most of the time, and you're constantly having to realign yourself. That's the purpose of having this mission statement, is just to constantly realign yourself whenever you're off course. But eventually, you train your mind to be on course more often than not. So eventually, you reach a point where you're almost always on course. You're on course a majority of the time, and you don't have to course correct as much. And you build this momentum in your life, and you reprogram yourself, basically. That's when life starts to become easier. It takes conscious effort. This isn't something that's going to happen. You're not going to, magically become the person you want to be if you don't set the intention to be that. It's like like I said, the analogy, like you're a ship at sea. And if you don't aim for anything, you're just going to end up wherever the ocean takes you. you're gonna end up on some random destination that you didn't necessarily want to be because you didn't set your intention and you didn't stay aligned and you didn't continue to course correct because you weren't even aiming for anything to begin with.